And trying to log on to our CAC meeting, which is kind of important. I'm actually trying to see. No, they probably haven't turned on the volume yet because it's not 10 o'clock. So what did you just do? You touched
I
it again.
turned the volume above 8, above 7.
And where do I see that on here?
Bottom.
I'm having a hard time seeing the computer with these stupid glasses. So
My reading glasses.
is it we're down here?
What are you looking for? Huh?
Have you all started yet? I think you're muted.
You go.
Yeah, there we.
So now can you hear me and is there an echo? Can someone come on?
Yes and yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, there's an echo, and yes, I can hear you.
There's no echo.
Good.
So I'm going with no echo and can hear from Jeff Shelton. I don't see anybody on camera, so I can't see if you're shaking your heads or not, but we're going to start. Are we recording yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I've introduced the CAC. I'm Deborah Meglio. All of you, I hope, got the agenda via, I'm gonna get a text next time, Town Square.
Yeah.
Right? I can tell by your face, you didn't look.
When did you send it?
I don't send it. Gina sends it every Friday in the newsletter.
Yeah.
That's the announcement, yes. It's in there, down there. So anyway, in any event, the reason I'm saying that is because I'm flipping the agenda a little bit. We were gonna start with the election conversation and then the town center metro district information. I'm gonna swap it, so at the end, we can beat drums and we can spend as much time as we need to getting folks to apply for the CAC. So, in the interim, all of you did get the agenda for the town center metro district meeting that was held this past Thursday at 8 AM, right?
Yeah.
Right. How many of you maybe attended? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just shy of 10 people. Okay, so it may be a little bit of a repeat for those of you who are on. I applaud you for being on. I will say this again. We, Fairway Villas, and everyone in Eden are, I'm not sure if the word is controlled by, managed by, the oversight is a better word, comes from the Town Center Metropolitan District, which is a developer metro district, and from Ebert, which manages all 9,000 homes plus in this area. Very important entities for us to know. So when they send their agendas out, it's great for us to attend because you'll hear then, but you'll probably hear here later, but you'll get it firsthand and sooner. And TCMD is always at 8 AM and it's now here and on Zoom. And the Ebert ones are at 8 PM and they announce it. It's usually on a third day of the week. Oh, there you are. It was so, I thought I had started, but I was watching for you. What time? Oh, Tuesday nights about 7. Okay. So I highly encourage you to attend those.
But it's only on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ebert one is only on Zoom. I understand they're working on alternatives, but for now, but it works great, I have to say. I have not had any trouble listening to it on Zoom, but I do hope that it goes to multi-faceted attendance options. So, that having been said, Bill, I think you want to stand. Bill's gonna be the TCMD spokesperson. Do we have Louis on? I don't know.
I changed my appointment.
But he's also not, I'm gonna introduce
Well, I
him.
thought Louis was gonna be on.
That's what I thought.
I'm not seeing him.
Okay, I was gonna introduce him as well. So Bruce is the chair of the Ebert Metropolitan District.
President.
I'm sorry, president. And,
Direct.
Bill is on the Town Center Metro District Board. So, we might want to hear. Yeah,
You're not gonna be on.
well, we should go like that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're gonna stand? Okay.
I'll sit.
Don't sit on me then.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I am on the Town Center Board. That's a developer control board that has been managing all of Green Valley Ranch North for 20-some years. About 4 years ago, we started talking about the idea of transition. What do we mean by transition? It means that we want to go from a developer-controlled community to a resident-controlled community where Hebert is the resident elected board and will be managing the district going forward. It's a simple concept that we've developed as far as the transition, but it's gonna be a little complicated to implement. It's gonna be effective operationally at the first of this next calendar year. What we eventually gonna do is consolidate the two boards, consolidate the two districts, and town center will more or less disappear. It will be completely Hebert at that point. The way we're going to do it is we're going to keep all the sub-districts that are currently in place intact just the way they are. It's a lot simpler to get through all of the judicial process and the city approval processes if everything stays the same structurally. Now, what this also is going to entail is, since the Hebert district manager now is not structured or staffed or capable of managing all of Green Valley Ranch North, we are about to initiate an RFP, a request for proposal, to replace the town center district manager. The plan is the new district manager would come in place in December of this year and gradually transition into managing the entire district. We will also become the Hebert district manager, so that by the time we get through to transition, we have the same consistent district manager. It's going out to bid, as I said. What it means is most likely, I can't say for certainty, most likely Timberline will be gone. Most likely CLA will no longer be the district accountant. Most likely Westwood will no longer be the district, the community manager for doing the covenant enforcement. All of this came, the interesting thing, I'm going to digress for just a moment. A number of us all received a notice from Westwind within the last 2 weeks saying that introducing Brittany as our new district manager, that confused some people. And the ironic thing is, we had just told her the day before that we were starting this RFP process and that her days may be numbered. We made the switch from Jerry Jacobs as district manager to Brittany back in April, and I was bugging her to make an announcement and talk about some of the effects of the changes we're making as a result of the litigation, for example. But the notice finally came out a day after that, and of course it confused a number of people. At this point, all of the service providers are aware that things could easily change. We're hoping that the new district manager will be able to do a one-stop shop operation, being able to handle accounting, covenant control, architectural reviews, and district management all under one roof. I'm guessing it will probably save the entire district money in the long run. So that is what's happening from a big picture. The next question is what happens to Fairway Villas and the clubhouse and the lodge? Because all the two sub-districts that, 1 and 4, essentially Fairway 1 and Fairway 2, are not going to change structurally. It's just going to change overall management from town center to Hebert. What it means is operational control of the contract will go to the new district manager effective the first of the year. I have been standing in the role for town center as far as managing the Goodwin contract for better or for worse. The only change from our perspective is the new district manager will be managing the Goodwin contract and not me, for better or for worse. And I've explained all this to Sabrina. She's a little upset because she's already learned how to manipulate me to get what she wants. So now she's gonna have a new person to have to deal with. But in terms of services and what have you, everything is gonna stay the same. But actually, we're in the process of moving all of the age audit work from Westwind and Goodwin and.
Recording in
Junction
progress.
To all of it.
Might want to mute your
Hang on
phone.
1 second, Bill, they're sending chats, I'm just concerned they may not be able to hear you.
You mute your
No,
phone.
no, he was trying to get to that. Lloyd, can you look at those 7 chats to make sure they can hear us? I'm sorry.
Where's the chat? Got it.
Okay, is the echo going? Yes.
Yes, sorry.
No, okay, wait. Go to the very bottom one. Someone logged in. with my phone.
Yeah, Becky did.
I'm just gonna ask.
Jeff was the last one, can't hear no echo, and then.
No more echo at 10:15. That's right this minute.
Right.
Okay, so everyone, did you hear Bill?
Yes,
Some.
yes,
I
some of
heard
it.
some and yes.
It
You
was,
can ask questions at the end if you need things repeated. He will continue. Sorry, I thought it was a problem.
I lost my train of thought. We are in the process of transitioning the age audit information from Westwood to Goodwin, so they will be doing all of that. We are also expecting that when the new district manager takes over, Sabrina or the Goodwin folks will be handling all of our invoices, all of our check management. They will have control of our money directly and do all the accounting and coordinate the accounting with the new district manager at the Green Valley Ranch North level. So, other than that, it's not going to affect Fairway Villas at all. I have right here, Bruce Scheibel says, who said he's the Ebert president. He and I and a couple of others have been working diligently on this transition plan. Things sort of hung in the balance for 4 years from the way we originally planned. I think the transition discussions would have started sooner, except the litigation got in the way. But once we settled the litigation, and then at the last meeting, Ebert resolved or decided that they were going to apply to the city so that they could take over covenant control beginning in 2026. That was the catalyst that got everything started. Town center developed a plan, outlined a plan fairly quickly, and the two boards have been working together diligently since then in a very collaborative and positive way. So that's my summary in a nutshell. I'm sure there's going to be questions. So who wants to be in charge of collecting
Can
questions?
Bruce introduce himself, stand up and at least let folks know who you are and what you do and.
So, a lot of you know me, I'm Bruce Scheibels, I live over in Fairway 2, I'm the president of the Ebert board, and, I need to correct something that, Deb said earlier. There are not 9,000 homes, there are about 9,000 plus electors or eligible voters within the Ebert district. There are about roughly 4,500 homes
Thank you.
in the Ebert district, but that's just a minor correction. But I also gotta let you know, when Bill said that the the consolidation process. It's not consolidating the boards. There still will be just a 5-person board. That may change after the consolidation happens, assume it all gets approved. The process is complicated in that to consolidate, we have to have, according to state statutes, according to the attorney for Ebert, and I'm pretty sure that the attorney for Town Center agrees, there has to be, I think, at least 2 elections or votes. They could happen at the same time, but I think there are 2 separate questions. One, I think, is agreeing to actually consolidate, and the other, I can't remember what the actual question is, but it is something else. What?
Term limits.
Term limits. Because right now, because both boards were developer controlled back in 1999, the 2 out of the 3 members, there were only 3-member boards at that time, 2 out of the 3 members voted that both Town Centers and Ebert's boards are not permanent. So theoretically, I have to vote, if you voted me, like me, I can work for other people. Anyway, so there would be 2 elections. We probably will have them at the same time. They can only happen in Tabor years, which means in 2025. We may or may not have them in May or November. We may have them as a special election, but they won't cost us $90,000 like the last special election we had for the recall. It will cost a lot less because we'll run it ourselves. But regardless, those elections have to happen, and the Ebert electorate has to approve this consolidation. When Bill said that it has to be basically in terms of the approval process, it basically has to be apple to apple. So we can't change any boundaries at all. I mean, we can't change any of the special district boundary, physical boundaries. We can't change any of the Ebert physical boundaries. There is a move afloat, which we haven't been able to finalize yet, because there are 2 parts of Special District 2 and Special District 5 that are west of Tower that are not within the Ebert physical boundaries. They're now managed by contract. That's something that is outside and is not really Ebert concern in terms of the physical Ebert, but we have to, there's something afoot that maybe we can just get rid of that, but that's not necessarily your concern because it's not part of the Ebert, consolidation process. We also, I will say that, after the litigation settled, even though from my perspective, when I first was appointed to the board and then elected, I've been trying to get this transition. Transition didn't start moving until the litigation settled. I will say that from my perspective. I don't know if Bill agrees with that, but it really is. We've been trying to get Town Center to tell us what did they mean by transition since I first was appointed as a member of the Ebert board back in 2021. So but it didn't really take off until the litigation settled. And now, I saw Brandon at an event back about a month ago, and he said, and I said, yeah, money's gonna run out at the end of 2025, so we're gonna have a lot of work to do in the next 18 months. He said, no, let's get it done in 6 months. I said, what? And apparently that's what they really want to do. Now they really want, they should give us everything. So they want Ebert to do everything. So, and that includes ownership of everything, water rights, everything. So that's what is gonna happen, but it's gotta happen fast. And it won't fully happen until the electorate doesn't vote it, doesn't approve it, then we're sort of back to the, drawing board as to what. So hopefully we can get a support of at least our 2 groups and we'll move on from there.
Bruce, why don't you explain what a Tabor election is? Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, Tabor election, those of you who moved into Colorado, basically means Tabor elections have to do with tax hikes or raising taxes or tax hikes or whatever. You can only have those elections in certain years under Colorado law. I don't know it. I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not an election attorney, but basically those can only happen in certain years in Colorado. And that's what I mean by a Tabor election. That's all. In simplicity. Question?
Yeah. I'm Tiffany Martinez. I live over in Fairway 2. I think moving forward and doing this is a great idea. But I'm wondering what the timeline and the, all of a sudden, TCMD is, oh, let's transfer it. What, the developer hasn't been very transparent with us from the very, very beginning. And I'm wondering why that need all of a sudden, or why all of a sudden after the litigation that they're wanting to do the transition. And I'm hoping that everybody on the board, both boards, know exactly in our conferring with legal to know the water rights of the golf course that comes with that, the well rights, all of the land structure that comes with the transition.
I think there were a couple of questions buried in there. It's been the intent all along on the developer's part that they're only going to manage the greater community during the period that they're building it up and building all the houses. That once all of the development was done, which it is essentially done now, control and management of it would go to a resident control board. So from an experience point of view, one of our new board members on town center is highly skilled. That's Joe Nopinski. He's a member of a great number of other boards that have gone from developer control to resident control. He's leading us through the process on our side. Ebert's council has brought somebody in that specializes in Metro District and Metro District transfers. We firmly believe we know what we're doing and are getting the proper advice.
And to your specific point about contracts and assets and whatever, I mean, I'm an attorney, I don't play one on TV. I'm a litigator, I'm not a transactional attorney, but it's been something that I've been, aware of, like the concession agreement with the golf course and things like that, which really pissed me off when they did some stuff regarding the transfer of monies for the irrigation stuff and all that. I know stuff, and I can just assure you going forward that the contracts are going to be overseen properly, which I don't think they have been for 20 years, at least the golf course contract. And also in terms of the assets coming over, as far as I'm concerned, we're making sure that everything is done properly before the transfer is fully, and they know that. I mean, and Bill, as a TCMD board member, I know he's looking out for not only the residents within Fairway Village, but the residents of Ebert, because he's a resident member of the town center board. And I know I can say, trust us, and because of history of a lot of you who have been long-term residents, that's tough. No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, it'd be nice just to say, I know it's tough to say, trust us, but there are some of us who are adamant that, it's not good. I know some people have raised the issue of there are some developer advantages still on a couple of the budgets of a couple of the sub-districts. And in the past, there were developer advances on some of the other sub-districts, including, I think, Fairway Village 1, that have been basically, they just disappeared because they've been forgiven. Our position is those are going to be forgiven before transition happens, or transition is not going to happen.
Before, 1 second, I see at least 4 hands, but there was a question raised on chat first, so if you four don't mind, and the question is,
Go ahead.
are there any cons to disbanding the merging of TCMD? And that's Becky Hammer asking that question.
Are there any cons?
Cons. What is the downside?
What's the downside? The downside is,
We lose all the complexity.
I personally don't see any, but the only thing I could conceivably think of is that you're gonna laugh when you hear this, is the developer has had a lot more experience in managing communities the, the, the several residents on the Hebert board have. And that's not directed as a disparaging comment to Hebert. It is just a fact. So that's why you hire experienced district managers. They have to rely on the district manager, who's gonna be a highly qualified district manager that we bring in, that I think will have tremendous more capabilities and better service than the town center historical district manager.
Al, I think Bruce had his name up.
Yeah, Bruce is the next
And then,
one.
Bruce Michaelowski, I live at 5500 Eastern Street. We were talking about transfer of assets. In the announcement of the sale of the golf course to a new company, if I understood that properly, it said that TCMD owns the land.
TCMD owns the land and it will become Hebert land after the transition.
Okay, so
And the water rights behind it, I think there's about 300 acre-feet of water rights that town center owns. They go to Hebert. We're in the process of getting some sense of value on those.
okay, so my question then is, with the new owner of the golf course, they lease the, we have to pay a lease fee for that, plus there's a lease for the restaurant. If I understood the.
That's a separate concession.
Separate concession. That both, all that transfers to then Hebert? Would you
Correct.
then Hebert board be responsible for those leases for the golf course and the restaurant?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. Because, as a golfer and a member, one of the fears I have when that transfer ownership happens is they change, you know, different things on the golf course. Example could be that they, you know, the membership fees have gone up and naturally because of inflation and other things. If they decide they need to make more money and make a large increase in those kinds of fees, will the board have any, control over that?
Town center never had control over that. And for the concession agreement, Hebert's not gonna have any control over that. That's your issue with the golf course manager.
But they're taking it over, and they use the board, I mean, not you yourself, but they pay a lease fee
They
to.
pay a lease fee.
The contract is what the contract is, and if we're taking over the existing contract. I personally haven't seen the existing, I don't know if it's a Fourth Amendment, or if they actually renegotiated and created a new agreement. That's one of the, going back to Letitia's question, that's one of the documents that I still haven't seen.
Okay, so you'll have some, at least have some knowledge of that.
Oh, I definitely will have knowledge before the transition takes place, yes, and.
You know,
And if there's an amendment process in the contract and there's enough, you know, complaints about it, that's something we could bring up with the concessionaire, but at this point, the contract is what it is, and basically, in the past, they left it alone and it wasn't properly managed. There were other issues with that contract in the past that were.
Well, as members of Fairway to Village, if we didn't like something that happened, is there any kind of a process to, deal with it?
Not through the boards that I know
Okay, thank you.
There's a couple of things I'd like to say, kind of piggybacking on what Letitia said. The reality is the town center has said that they want this transition to occur. In order for the transition to occur, the receiving party has to agree. And that's Hebert. And so I think part of the check and balance here is the developer just can't willy-nilly dump something on Hebert without Hebert agreeing as to what's going to happen. So I think that process that is going to be gone through with both the Hebert and the town center board is probably, I think, satisfied the concern about making sure that the developer has done the things that he's done. And I think that.
And not trying to hide something.
Right, and I think that what Bruce just mentioned about some of the language in the financial statements about developer contributions being taken care of, I think that all falls in that same basket. Okay. The other thing that I think it would be good to be square on in this language is relatively widely used, Bruce, about the golf course. The golf course did not sell. What happened is the concession agreement was transferred to the park. So the golf course in terms of ownership and entity and everything else is essentially the same, which is what before, which is who is managing it and what the conditions relative to the payment for that management, which would take place. So that's something that I think a lot of times people get confused when they have heard about the fact that there was a new concessionaire. People would think that the golf course actually was sold to different entities or different companies that did not have.
And the big difference with the new agreement, for 20 years, there was supposed to be a percentage of money coming based on something, and the developer, I don't know. All I know is nobody ever audited it and no money ever flowed between the original concessionaire and the owner, TCMD. And then the new agreement actually has a actual number that's supposed to be paid. Whether they made the first payment, I don't know, because I haven't actually looked. Oh, they did. Oh, good. So that's a big difference. With the new concessionaire, they actually made a payment where for 20 years, the golf course never made a payment to TCMD. So at least that's one benefit of the new concession.
Gail,
I have a question about, with the removal or withdrawal of town center, how will that affect our taxes?
My question.
Because, okay, because approximately 60% of our taxes go to our two metro districts. We have some of the highest taxes in the city and county of Denver. Will those taxes that we pay town center go away, or do you have, what can you tell us about how it will affect our
be
taxes?
happy to talk about that. Let's look at it in two components. There's a portion that is right now set at about 17 mils that Ebert collects. And that Ebert passes on to town center to manage the district, pay all the lawyers, pay all the accountant, pay off Westwind, pay for landscaping, etc. All that is gonna happen there is Ebert's gonna be taking control of that money and not passing it on to town center. They still will need money to run the district, pay for the new district manager, pay for landscaping, pay to improve all the landscaping that we screwed up as when we were managing it, among other things. And they'll still have to do covenant control and what have you. So in theory, nothing's gonna change there. The other big component of the taxes is 56, 57 mils thereabouts that pays for the Fairway Villas services, the building maintenance and the Goodwin contract and all the social events and what have you. That is still unchanged. It's just a matter of who is the group that figures out what the expenses are going to be and how we're going to pay for it and how what the tax rate is to support that. So if you want to, the basic question is probably not much is going to change. You're still going to have the same level of taxes because you're still going to have the same level of services, hopefully better level of services, better quality of services at the district level, and no real change here at the Fairway Village level.
Can you
And then-
explain the debt servicing piece?
Well,
And there's that other piece. Once upon a time, we had to build roads and water infrastructure and what have you. And to finance that, Ebert had to raise money of about 110,000 that was refinanced in 2018 under a 30-year note. There's another 40 mils or so that goes to pay for that debt service that everybody in Green Valley North pays for. So that's the third big chunk of taxes, and that's not going to change at all.
But at this point, though, your money is paying for, say, 2 attorneys,
Right.
two, theoretically 2 accountants, although it's one accounting firm. 2, well, one covenant control, but anyway, with the consolidated district, there'll only be 1 attorney. And the district manager, contract will be 1, we're looking, the RFP is going out and the process is looking for someone who can maybe provide, instead of time and materials, a fixed fee type program, so that's, it doesn't say that we can't, but there's, the way the formula is set up, we're looking for a system that has, we're looking for cost savings just even in the district manager RFP process, so I can't say, again, 'cause I'm not a finance guy, I'm an attorney, so Bill's a finance guy, I can't say that the mill rate's gonna go down, but we're gonna all work to, try to have it at least not go up.
At least not go up. Any more questions on Zoom land?
Walter has a question.
Walter Mills, will the taxpayers Ebert taxpayers ever be responsible for footing the bill of the golf course?
I don't understand the question.
Will we ever have to, our tax money be used to have to run that, support that golf course?
It is today. I think.
I mean, if they say they're.
Well, are you talking about operational?
Yes, operation. If they say they're losing money, we need more money.
That's
I
the
mean-
problem.
Correct.
Where's that gonna come?
They have the
That's their
opportunity
problem.
to take out loans. That's the concessionaire, they have the, yeah.
Okay, they're on their own.
Yeah, they're on their own.
Yeah.
They have to do better marketing, get more golfers in there.
Okay. Guess we're done.
Thank you, Bill.
Oh, I just want, we are having a special meeting of the Ebert, board. It's partly to, okay, sending out the RFP on, July 24th, which is not a Tuesday, at 7 p.m. Just so you know. That's a Wednesday, okay.
So will the RFP be available at some website where we can at least take a look at what it encompasses?
Once it's approved and actually sent out, yes. Yeah, at least be on the Ebert website. No offense, but the town center website sucks.
I'm Chuck Carrigal, I'm in Fairway Village too, and I just have a comment mostly about the way the homeowners association through Jerry and all that has operated, which has been atrocious. And I know that the board members are going to be changing because their terms are up. So I am proposing that we shouldn't make any changes to, for instance, the architectural guidelines until we have a new board in place that can approve the new people in place who can make the new guidelines so that we have up-to-date guidelines that are meaningful for our community.
Oh, the covenants are what they are. When you say guidelines, you're talking about the way the covenants are interpreted by the covenant control
Yeah.
folks.
And what things are covered? I mean, what do they care what kind of plant we put in our backyard? For instance, all of this, I think, was set up for the builder's sake because this is how they were going to build all the properties. And that's fine, but they're gone, so we shouldn't follow that.
It's not as easy as you propose.
I'm sure it is, nothing is. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Are there any questions up there?
No.
Well, with that topic closed, the next topic is elections. So everyone knows This is your current CAC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There will be 7 again. The way it's going to work is the way it's worked every year. At the next CAC meeting, and that will be, hold on, I have it all written down. July 31st, we have a working meeting Saturday, August 3rd. Anyone interested in becoming a member of the CAC will have the opportunity at a meeting just like this to introduce themselves, read their bio, and state what their skills and abilities are and why they'd like to be a member of the CAC. That happens on Saturday, the 3rd. On the 5th, which is Monday, there'll be a survey monkey. We believe it'll be survey monkey, but there will be a survey asking for you to choose those people that are running to serve on the board. The vote will last for 2 weeks, and at midnight on the 18th, which is a Sunday, the voting will close. Then the next community CAC meeting will occur on September, did I have this right, guys? September 4th. And at that meeting, you'll be introduced to your new CAC members. Yes, Dan.
How many positions are?
I'm just gonna get there. Yeah, so there are 7 members on the board. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 remaining. So Josie will remain. She was a 2-year term. She's got 1 left. Walter is leaving the board at his choice. Lloyd has 1 more year. Becky is leaving the board at her choice. Richard has 1 more year. Amani has 1 more year, and I will be leaving the board. So that.
Excuse me, Deb,
Yes.
the date in September is September 7th.
That's a Saturday?
That's the Saturday,
Okay, thank you.
right? Our working meeting is on the 4th.
Okay, sorry about that. So September 7th. So there will be, 1 second, so there will be 4 remaining and 3 leaving, so 3 openings. Yes.
When you say 3 leaving, term limit or just they're up for reelection if they want to, reapply?
Yes,
They're all up. for
they're all up for, if they could
Oh,
be.
I thought you said so.
Yes, the 3 could extend if they wanted. But their initial term is up.
They're not.
The initial 2-year term is up. Yes,
Just one thing to add, when we do when you do your bio presentation and you're getting all that information together, please plan on limiting that to 5 minutes as we've done in the past.
It's 3.
3,
Mhm.
3,
3.
minutes, okay,
Yeah.
3 minutes.
If you tell a joke at the end,
Lloyd did.
So I didn't get to the technicalities of the process, but you should, if you're all on town square, and I'm going to look at you in the eye and assume you all are. If you're reading it every week or weekly, then you will know that the positions are open and we are accepting candidates. And there is a button that you press, and that will go to the CAC saying Laurel is interested, and then we have a name. Then we have a name, and it will say to put your bio together. There is no specific form. There's nothing you have to submit other than your personal write-up on your skills and abilities, however you want to present yourself to your peers.
And one other thing, if there's 3 openings and only 3 people are running, there will not be an election and you'll be a shoe-in and you won't even have to do your bio.
But I would say, even if you're 1 of 3 or 3 of 3, whatever it is, I think you should still do your personal write-up, because that will help those folks that are
You just don't have to
here
press
to know what their skills are, because there are different assignments that the board has based on their skills and abilities. And it will also help your peers. So even if there were 3 of you and 3 openings, I would still highly recommend that you present yourself to the residents on August 3rd.
Deb, can I do one thing? One
Oh,
more
you
comment.
want to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people, last time we went through this, people asked a lot about job duties and time wise and, commitment. I will tell you, since Goodwin's been here, the commitment has gone down, which is good. We're not dealing with what I call the day-to-day nuts and bolts. So Sabrina's doing a great job of that. But, you know, it is a commitment, and the one thing I would say is, you know, it does take, you know, I spend probably a couple hours a week on CAC stuff, going through emails and those kind of things. And then going to a board meeting every other week, which takes 2 hours. And then today. Every once in a while, we have a special meeting because something's come up, but those are rare and few and far between. But the one thing I would encourage you to do, and this is, you know, if you're gonna run for this position, make a true commitment to the 2 years, okay? I understand if medical issues come up and everything, but your co-residents, co-homeowners are voting for you to be in this position for 2 years, you know? So think of this as a 2-year commitment, okay?
The bylaws.
And, we do have bylaws. I would encourage anybody, they've just been revised, you guys all voted on those and everything. Go out to the website and look at those and kind of understand what you're getting into. You know, and go from there. The bylaws are for our CAC members. It's not the handbook, so don't get this too confused, okay? Those are, you know, a commitment and an understanding of this is how you're gonna be governed, okay? So think of it as that way, okay? But think of this as a 2-year commitment, please.
The bylaws were rewritten, you all agreed to them, you can go to town square and look. I cannot tell you how difficult for you all to get comfortable and familiar with town square. I'm not just saying, every document that governs our community has been posted, every event that we hold here is on there. The newsletter that comes out every Friday is on there. So you'll get little blasts in your email saying there's been a change, there's been something new posted. But if you have the app on your phone, you can click it when you're waiting in the dentist's office, you can click it at any time. And truly, it's so user friendly. And everything you could ever want.
It's not user, still after all this time, and I'm computer savvy, it's still not.
Well, if you believe that, or feel that way, not believe, if you feel that way, we will have a session to help. We had so many of them, and we just would have people waiting to help and, you know, call them and they'll come and no one came. But if you believe that, I will take a note right now, and we will have a session, and I expect at least 2 of you there.
I know how to, yeah, it's just, when I do it, it's still.
But there must be something that's not, well, wait. What you just said is, when you do it, it still kicks you out.
Yeah.
Or, wait, what we are doing is trying to get everything to speak to each other. So Town Square is a tool provided by Goodwin. We're using a different tool, for instance, for let's say RSVPs and other things. So what happens is right now, we're working on it. You'll go to RSVP for, I don't even make this, bingo tonight, that's what I was gonna say, bingo tonight. And I believe it will say, you really want to do this, you're gonna leave this site. That is true, because that Town Square tool wasn't built just for us, so it doesn't have some of the capabilities we've all become comfortable with. And so it takes you to the tool that we have been using. And then you're right, you have to go back to Town Square. But if you look at all of the things that are available, you still can stay within Town Square and look at the bylaws. You can look at the homeowners, you can look at any document. Every document is there. You can go back and look at every newsletter for years. But there are certain things, and it'll say you're gonna leave, and that's why. We are working on that.
Okay,
It's being worked on.
all right.
But other than that, it really is user friendly. If you want to RSVP, you're right, you have to put you out, you have to go back in.
But
Yes, yeah.
that happens when I pay some of my bills online. It takes you to outside that, like, you know, say the city of Denver Water Department. It takes you to a third carrier that they use to their website, and then you're done now. So that's not uncommon. So,
But if you want, we can have do we need a town square training session? No?
no.
Okay, Calvin?
Maybe maybe I'm just stupid, I can't find the agenda for this meeting.
It was in I saw it, that came out in, I believe Gina posted it,
July
it came
11th.
out, Walter sent it out in an email.
July 11th.
Yeah, it
It's
came
not
out.
on town square?
Yes.
That's fine.
In the news.
After the fact,
And
after the meeting, Carol will show you where it is. Yeah. Okay, hold on one second, just 1 second, you two, because I have a couple of chat questions and I want to get to them and not forget. Jeff was correcting us at concessionaires agreement, we got that, and then Kay and Bob said, will the town center transition to either take place in 25 or 26? Which one of you would like to answer that?
25.
Okay, I didn't want to say that. So Kay and Bob, the intent is 2025, the transition will take place. Okay, and then I had two questions. Bruce?
I just want, with regard to that, you saying that folks who are interested don't need to submit a little written blurb about
They
their.
do need to do that, but there's no, people thought they have to submit fill out a form or some kind of specific document. There is no document, you know, you don't need to tell us your age or your social security number, right? But it will take you, you'll click on it, you'll put your name, and then you have to have your bio written and submitted so we can print it. So that at that meeting, we can hand it out to folks, and Gina will post it for us so that the folks on Zoom can also have it for the meeting on August, what did I tell you, the 4th? Is that the first Saturday of the month? August 3rd.
So files would be when, no later than.
August
Well,
3rd.
if you know you're gonna run, do it now.
Yeah.
So that will help
Do
Gina.
anything till the last second.
Well, don't, so then there's you Monday, Cal. Um, Yes, ma'am.
I just wondered, if anybody else has tried to,
Can you stand up and tell everybody who you are?
I'm getting the phone. And I wonder if anybody else has tried to respond to anything, to RFP on yesterday. Yeah. Mine didn't work. Mine did. I don't, you know, because it worked.
Okay, how about afterwards? You did it at work?
Yeah.
Why don't you come over and have Nanette show you and let us know?
I do it all the time. That's not the link.
I had like 3 or 4 or 5 people said they did it, so I think it would be good to, Carol.
I do not have an iPhone. So that's part of the
I'm
problem.
sorry, but.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Town Square works better with one. I have also found that on my phone, I need to go to my Kindle to read what's on Town Square, but I cannot reply on my Kindle. So maybe you need to switch devices.
Well, no, it's always worked, it just didn't get.
Okay.
See,
I was trying to, respond for, you know, the gym class, and my husband was trying to respond for the, Beaver Gulch thing, and Beaver Lane. Well, I have to respond to one of those, so let's try it after the meeting. Well, I'll give it a shot. I'm trying to.
I
No,
No, I was thinking of something you said, because I did want to say this. We have talked to Gina about maybe, and I don't know if everybody has, I've had a conversation with her, maybe some of you have, about the format being a little unwieldy because it's a double column.
Yes.
So that may be something that will change. I take my phone and I go like this. And so then I read one column and then I just move it and read the other, and then I go down. So that's what I do to facilitate when I'm on my iPhone.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and you can expand it. I saw, Bruce, did you just have your hand up again?
No, the use of golf is no longer an RCP because now it's a little problematic.
I didn't get you, I'm
There's
sorry.
no leader, there's no leader for the use of golf, so there's no longer an RCP.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, no, there's one, yeah, okay. Bruce, don't say any names, and I was gonna address that at the end, so if you'll hang on. So, we diverted to Town Square, but I can't emphasize the value of it enough. Getting back to the elections, what questions might you all have for us? Because this is your opportunity to ask folks, you know, what a wonderful time they had and how long it takes and all of the questions they might have. Does anybody have any? Yes, sir. Would you stand up and introduce yourself?
Good morning, Robert Martin, new resident since October 15th of last year. Glad to see you here. I feel very welcome. My question is just simple. Is there any reason why you all would think no one should serve on this wonderful board?
I'll answer that.
Question part two. Is there any reason that you all think no one should serve on this wonderful board?
So I can answer that. I think if you envision it, well, the reasons are if you want to serve the community, okay? And my only reason for thinking you might not want to serve is if you don't have a sense of humor.
You know, I want everybody to know that, the last couple of years has been very tumultuous. We've had some, it's been tough. It's been very tough. And a lot of people shy away simply because of the amount of time and the subjects that we were dealing with. And some of the personalities that were involved. I think, we were meeting, so much that I used to get the meetings and stuff, quite honestly, just to get us through, but there was always light at the end of the tunnel, right? So I think for the first time in the past few months, that number one, we have a lifestyle director that everyone pretty much likes.
Yeah.
We have a sub-district manager that everybody likes.
Yeah.
I've watched some of the crazy and padded fees come way down. And they're listening. And then we have Goodwin that basically is top notch. And we're seeing a tremendous amount of positive things that I can tell you when I moved in 2020, we didn't have. So, everyone was trying to figure out who was doing what, when and how. And, we had a developer that didn't want to share information at all. My problem was that, we're getting bills that at that time, thank goodness, Bill was involved that it was showing up 90 days later. Now we have input before money is spent. So things are calmed down, way down. And I think that right now Fairway Villas is in a good place. So to answer your question, I can't think of a reason. I don't think there is a bad reason to be on this board. We're just the watchdogs, if you will. We're looking over everything and for the interest of our community, the 370 homes. And right now we're in a good spot because, we're not taking anything for granted. However, it's just smoothed out tremendously.
Yeah. Exactly, well, I just wanted to give a shout out to our staff, including Nick. Because Sabrina, Nick, and Gina and I went over to the gardens and planted like 30 or 40 plants that were donated. to Fairway Village. The only reason I was there was supervised because they don't know how to garden. But we have a thriving garden now that is doing wonderfully. But we do need some volunteers to help water it once in a while. Teresa and I have been taking turns, I think, or they do it more often than I do. So, and all of the produce that is being provided from that garden plot, or the plots that were not rented, is going to go to, I believe, Struggles of Love, which is a food pantry for low-income people. So our staff goes above and beyond all the time.
Yes, I agree. Sure.
Communication has improved tremendously.
Oh.
Tremendously. And being on the board, you'll learn a lot too about all the districts and just budgets, everything. So it's kind of fun.
Yes, Bruce.
I have a question for Bruce, I think. When you're talking about those elections. Yeah. The ones out like the other, like the recall one day, would be ballot sent out to the county or something like that?
We're not gonna have the city of Denver do it, no.
Oh, okay,
Because that's one reason it costs them.
okay. So what are one of the issues are, you say we have so many voters. Do changes like that have to have a majority of people voting? Or
The majority of people vote.
you don't hit that, let's say it's 9,000 and 4,500.
No. The majority of people who cast their vote, only all the people vote, then it would have to
It's
be.
not only one. So just who votes not, that's necessarily who could vote. Yes, but I think.
That is a big question.
It's one vote per household.
Oh, absolutely. So one vote per household. So depending on the tool we use,
It will be Survey Monkey.
okay, it will be Survey Monkey, so you've heard that. It's one vote per household.
And
And just so there's no
You
confusion,
can't cancel each other out. It will be the primary on your homeowners, whatever you call it. Whoever the primary is on your email, that is the person who can and will vote. If someone tries to vote as not the primary, I'm sorry, but whoever's the primary will cancel you right out. It'll look like you went through, but it won't. We count them, we know. So I'm gonna use this as an example, if I may.
Absolutely. We
Carol-
always cancel each other.
Karen voted. And so she got in there before Bill, and we watched it, we were using the test, when Bill got around to voting, wiped her out.
Has that ever changed? Can you have to?
No,
Why?
because I am one of the
That's the
people
way it
who
is.
got up in the meeting years ago and said, I pay my taxes the same way they do. Why should they get two and I get one? Give me two and you can have two. And I will never cancel myself out. So we can, I guess, put it to vote again, but I'm not sure it would make sense.
just so there's no confusion, the vote we're talking about with the consolidation, that's just like any election.
Yeah.
Everybody who's an actual elector in the city and county of Denver
Right.
gets a vote. It's not one vote. It's like president.
Take turns.
Okay.
This year you, next year.
So I'm hoping we have a room full of people who are going to volunteer for the CAC. And if not, do you have more questions? If you're on the fence, you're leaning one way or the other, this is the group to ask any questions of. Nanette.
My name is Nanette Stanley. I have a question. Several months ago, there were individuals walking around in our community marking places that the sidewalk didn't meet properly and such. And I was told at the time that the reason for that is that the developer was trying to get out of their bond. So they had to make these improvements before they could get the bond relief. And nothing has ever happened. The sidewalks are still marked.
Bill, do you have any insight?
Nope. Does anybody know what that?
Al.
Take it, Sam, had it.
Okay.
Everything that's in the city right of way. Which basically includes the street, the curb and gutter, and the sidewalk, which is basically the street. City of Denver requires whoever installs them. To wait a period of time. Before the city will accept them. Okay. And I think what was happening was the city was doing their inspections that were required at the end of that time to determine if there were problems, and then it's up to the developer to correct them before the city will accept the improvement.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was going on as to why it has to happen. I couldn't answer that question.
Sabrina's working on it.
Oh, is she? Okay, thank you. I just didn't know what the follow-up to that. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Al was right, in fact, one of my neighbors was out there while we got it, doing it, and he said the same thing, he was from the city and county. Doing this, and he said, yeah, they want their bond, it gave you some retention amount of money that Oakwood wants back. And they're not gonna get the money back until they fix all those things. I think it's only in Perry Road too, I don't know that they did any marketing material. It's just in Perry Road too, yeah.
And then I don't know, I'm just gonna respond to something you said that Nick gave me a question. I'm not saying they have to fix everything, they have to fix whatever doesn't meet the standard, something may not. Yeah, if something might not meet our standard, that doesn't mean it doesn't meet the city and counties. Yes, Ken?
Can we somehow use that activity as leverage to get the Oakwood to finish some of the things they left undone at the launch? For instance, in the right of way. No, there was. No.
Let him finish his sentence. Go ahead.
I'd like to, finish
It's
up.
okay, Cal, go ahead. Finish your question.
For instance, in the city right of way, there are trees that according to the plan, according to the site plan, reviewed and approved by the city of Denver, city and county, there was supposed to be some trees planted along the front side of the lodge over there. Suppose that there's an example of, does that street strip, Denver County, Denver property in the street strip, those trees should have been planted by the developer. That's my suggestion.
I don't have knowledge, but I would imagine that and I'm just gonna take a stab at this, Bill, I don't know if this is true or not, but I would imagine at some point the builder had monies withheld for those two, and at some point after the right term has evolved, they'll have to inspect that side. Maybe that's a time when that will be seen because it's gonna be on their plan. I don't know. To the best of my knowledge, we have recovered all the monies that were owed us from Oakwood. We have reviewed the documents. It's our understanding we have received monies owed us.
They probably tell. I'm not arguing, I'm not disputing that, I'm not taking, I'm just saying, this thing that was brought up might be an opportunity for us to get those trees that, according to the, supposedly we were paid to put those trees in ourselves. I don't know if that was on the list, but there's missing trees according to the plan, and this might be an opportunity. But unless we maybe like bring it up, it probably won't.
I'm going to make a suggestion and somebody can flap me, but there is a landscape committee comprised of both Ebert and PCMD, am I correct?
Don't go there. Instead, time out.
Okay.
Instead, Sabrina's working on a list of things to get taken care of by the developer, more or less as we speak.
Oh, okay.
And you need to talk to Sabrina and ask her to put that on the list.
Okay, here we go.
As of that's as of yesterday news.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you, Ray.
okay, so that's a good suggestion. Thank you, Cal, if you'll get a hold of her and we'll write it up for her.
Well, Bill, you're talking to me, not to the board, but not to the county.
I'm talking to anybody that has issues like that.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Great, thank you, Bill.
Yeah, Oakwood is trying to get their retainage funds back from the project completion. The only way to get that back is they fulfill what's in those plans and that the city has already approved. If they don't do it, they don't get the money back. If those trees are not in that plan, right, it's not gonna.
Within the plan, and that when the review occurs. Okay,
And approval.
Thank you.
right, in the planner, absolutely, in the approved plan, correct. Anybody else, if you don't flinch here real quick, I'm gonna call the meeting. Anybody on Zoom land have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Bruce, oh, I forgot, yes, thank you, Bruce. Okay. The Geezer Gulch is a golf event that has been going on for 7 years. 7 years, and Bruce Michalowski has, along with, oh my gosh.
Mike Holmes.
Yes.
Mike Holmes there
Just had a mental part, Mike Holmes, who is moving, then Bruce took it over. And Bruce is no longer going to be able to do the Gulch, it's this year's, not doing it this year, we're looking for a volunteer or two. It's not that much. Right, Bruce, it's not that much, but we do need ownership. So it's a golfing event. I'm looking at all you golfers. Anybody who can, I'm looking at you on the chat. Anyone who would be willing, you can team up with someone else. And couple, 2 or 3 of you take over the Geezer Gulch. We'd like to see it continue. Bruce?
I'll help anybody that does that, but I'm not gonna be here that week, that's why I can't do it.
Okay,
I'm gonna be gone.
so in case you didn't hear it on Zoom land, Bruce is willing to be the mentor and he will assist in any way possible, but he will be out of town for the actual event. So we are looking for volunteers. Anyone else have anything else, or I'm gonna count it down? Oh, wait, here we go.
I just want to thank the people who are going to be leaving for all the work they put in the past couple of years. It has been tremendous. I can vouch for it.
You all figured for a really difficult time, thank you. You're here.
Chuck?
In connection with that, with all this transitioning going on, and I'm hearing that there are 4,500 homes in the whole district, and we're 375 of them, or whatever the number was, it would be nice that if we had some form of local control, where we had a local say of what we want to do in our area, perhaps that's different. And I think it would be beneficial if we had a board with some authority that is recognized by the district as talking for the people who live in Fairway Villas 1 and 2.
I can't speak to that other than we have the CAC, and that's what the Community Advisory Committee was established for a number of years ago.
But you're only advisor.
You're absolutely right, sir. So I will say this, give me 1 second, Bruce. As Bill and Bruce both said, this has been rumored forever, and if you study up on metro districts, and all I mean is Google it, read a little bit. Having a developer metro district in Colorado is a very, unfortunately, normal thing. For a developer to then move on so they can build new communities, they get out of the business of being a metro district. And they give it to the local metro district, which in our case is Heber. So this is not an unusual thing, and that is why Bill said PCMD brought on Joe Lipinski, who is familiar with it and has done it and is on many metro district boards. Having said that, the rumor has been going on, but nothing formal occurred until we just got notified by Bill a week ago, whatever that was. However, at your CAC, we established a subcommittee for the transition. Lloyd was the chair. It was Richard, myself, Lloyd, and 2 residents, Al Morey and Jeff Shelton, who is on Zoom. I don't know how many weeks or months we met, but it was a lot. And that was in addition to the other meetings we had. And a list was put together. that we all then shared and everybody agrees. It's the things that we think we need. And it's been given to Bill, it's been given to TCMD. Bruce now has it, and we're hopeful those requests will be considered as they do their transition.
Deb,
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
let Chuck know that we're your representative to go to the board, whether it was Town Center and Ebert, or is going to be just Ebert going forward. And we voice for you your concerns or what the community wants. So,
And do it again. Going once. Wait, oh, I forgot something. I'm sorry. Okay, we do not have to put chairs away tonight. We don't have to put today and put tables away because if you haven't RSVP, bingo is tonight.
6:30.
And if you're coming, bring your own beverages and your own snacks if you'd like snacks. It's not a food provided event, it's snacks. Yeah, just here. Don't bring one peanut, please bring a bowl. Anything else that I maybe missed? Thank you. Sure. Okay, going once, twice, 3 times.
We're done.
Adjourned.
Thank you.